everyone. Welcome to Straight for You, where we're bringing you straightforward dialogue with an open mind. I am your host, Miss Black Diamond, along with my guest co-host, who's back.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, tell them who you are.
I am SK Logic.
Hey, SK
Yes,
Logic.
Back in the building.
Child, I'm about to lose my voice already, But it's a lie. I'm going to go ahead and have a conversation.
Thank you so much for having me back.
Yes, tell us how you been.
I've been great. I started a new gig.
Okay.
Dealing with some fugazis, but...
Child, the fugaziness of it all. You know, we all about talking about these fugazis to keep it real.
But it's a good thing because I can utilize the entrepreneur skills that I have in order to do the things that I need to do.
Okay.
Organization's pretty well known.
All right.
And I'm doing what I need to do to move them in the direction that they want to go.
Respect to it all, honey, because we need encouragement and motivation in order to push forward in life. So I wish you nothing but success and blessings and along the way. Yes. And as far as me, I'm concerned, you know, the usual smoozual, okay? We out here in these streets trying to make it happen for Straight for You podcast and, you know, just taking care of business in life and keeping it positive and energetic as much as possible because, you know, things happen in life, you know. And that's, speaking of things happening in life, let's get into this topic.
Sounds good.
The topic for today is female and male mental and physical health, you know, because we don't discuss that often. You know, mental health and physical health is very important, and I've mentioned some things along the way. If you are my day one followers, you know about me having my own personal and physical issues. So with that being said, let's jump into this topic. How do you feel about the female and male mental and physical health?
I feel it's something that folks don't talk about that often.
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about it enough.
Okay.
Especially the mental side and especially the physical things that people go through because I have my own physical journey of things that I'm going through that from the exterior people would never know what I'm dealing with unless they were a part of the journey daily in order to see the things that I have to deal with and the struggles you have to go through in order to be able to function.
Yes.
And that's something that people don't take into consideration when they're around folks and they physically don't know their challenges or their mental challenges. Mm-hmm. And they say harsh things and they do. Because I remember when they did the stuff about Chadwick Boseman and because he had lost so much weight and people were ridiculing him online and saying stuff about him, but then he passes away and they're like, oh, we didn't know he was going through a 5-year struggle of cancer.
Because he didn't have to announce it, number one.
Thank you.
Number two, you know, he was on a mission for not just himself, but for his family too.
Exactly.
So,
and he was making a difference. He wanted to leave a legacy of who he was as an individual to impact not only the people around him, but the people that he wanted to impact past, present, and future.
But that's a perfect example of passing quick judgment, you know, and we all have had those moments in time where we passed our quick judgment.
Exactly.
And then we find out the extent of the situation. That's when we be like, oh,
you have remorse then.
I never knew. And reflect on, I said some bad things, you know, towards that individual, not knowing that they internally are suffering with something.
Exactly. I've had people, because I have autoimmune disease, a very rare strand of autoimmune disease.
Okay.
Part of it is a skin disorder called lichen planus.
Can you give them information for the people that don't know what you're speaking of?
Sure. Lichen planus it's where your body is fighting itself. Your blood is fighting itself. It's not allowing, like when your medication and things of that nature, when you take them, they adversely think that they're attacking your blood in your body as opposed to helping.
So the medication, it looks at it as an enemy.
Yes.
And that's
A
difficult
harsh enemy.
if it's supposed to help your body.
Exactly.
Your body like rejecting. So that is a constant battle. So do you go through pain and situations due to that?
I go through a lot of pain. I mean, it's a struggle to get up in the morning. I mean, it affects your joints. It affects your skin. I mean, it shows externally with lesions and things on my skin. It affects me from an internal perspective because my blood does not really take in with the oxygen that it needs to in order to function.
So it's limited on oxygen supply.
Yeah, the oxygen supply in my blood is limited. And what happens is when I take in food, I mean, I have to watch anything that you eat could be a trigger. So I have to watch what I eat all the time. And things that you think you could eat 1 week or 1 month, you'll eat them again, and then it'll have an adverse effect against it then. So it's kind of like I walk on eggshells really daily to figure out what to eat, what not to eat. And the drugs that I take are so high powered, you have to eat something.
Yes.
Because I'm on a very high steroid.
And what does the steroid do to your body for the people that don't understand what steroids do?
Steroids are meant to block certain things, and they take away inflammation, and they block what's not supposed to happen in your blood, so your immune system can fight off what it's battling with. So what it does for me is that because I have to take such a strong steroid, it bloats me. I retain water. I mean, when I first started on the journey, when I first started this was happening to me, it was almost about 17 years ago. I weighed 140 pounds. Now I'm in the 200s.
Because of the medication.
All because of the medication. It's not because of what you eat. It's not because of what you don't do or not do. But people look at you and they're like, oh, well, you went from this size, now you're heavy, or now you're a plus. But they don't know the struggle of what you've gone through.
So how, since you're speaking upon the physical portion, mentally, how has that impacted you in the experience of individuals and their perception of you?
I was depressed in the beginning when I first started taking the steroids, and I really started seeing my physical appearance change. It's life changing because now you have to get used to seeing a different version of yourself than what you used to see in the mirror.
Yes.
You're not the same person. Your body's not reacting to things the same way. You're not physically able to do the things that you used to do. I mean, there would be times that I would get up in the morning and I felt like I ran a 20-mile marathon. And it's like you're physically trying to function, but your body is so fatigued that you don't know what to do in order to be able to keep going. And the steroids help some days, but some days it's still your struggle between you and your body. And I've had people say, oh, well, you used to look really great, but now,
not the used to. And you know, I had to, not the used to, and a lot. I feel you on that. I feel you on that, but I'm gonna let you continue your conversation about you.
I had some folks to say, oh, you used to look really great when you were thinner. And I had a person that was supposed to be real close to me. He told me, he's like, well, if you lost about 30 or 40 pounds, you get back to being the same way you used to be. And I was like, seriously, dude? Because
you do have individuals like that, and definitely had a similar situation like that through social media platform. But I'm not gonna get upon me because I really want to hear about you. So this guy saying that you should, if you lost 30
to 40 pounds, he's like, well, if you lost about 30 or 40 pounds, you get back to looking the way that you used to, and your body would be okay. And I'm like, but dude, and if you don't know what's wrong with me, because you know. Yeah. So why would you?
So he knew?
Yes, he knew. He knew the struggle of what I'm going through.
Let me clutch my pearls.
Yes, he knew.
Okay,
Needless
that makes
to-
it even worse because
Yeah.
when an individual knows the condition and the struggles you're going through and still pass judgment, that's tough.
Needless
Number
to
one,
say-
he's close. Number two, he knew what your medical condition was
Yeah.
and is, I should say. And three, to just still out of those two
pass judgment.
make that make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I looked at it, I'm like, okay, as if you don't know what I go through every day just to be able to function.
Yes.
So needless to say, we ain't friends no more.
But of course. But of course.
Because my thing is, if you can't be a benefit to the journey, you don't need to be a part of it because your energy is not going to work.
Say that again for the people.
You got to be a benefit to the journey. If you're not a benefit to the journey, your energy is no longer necessary.
Okay, that's what's up. And people have to learn. It's a process of learning that. It's not something that you learn overnight. You have to go through some things and experience some things in order to appreciate some things.
Exactly.
Okay? And for the sake of that individual that came across so harshly, I'm not wishing nothing upon, but best believe things can happen in your life that will change your life. And then you got to reflect on the energy
That you put out.
Yes, negativity and things of that nature coming in your direction. Case in point, we had a recent situation where an individual who spoke harshly upon the female genre
Oh yes.
pass away. And it's kind of, I want to say karma like that this particular person passed away in a condition where he spoke harshly about the female people, population, because they passed away alone, in a sense, not really alone. They had a guest of an opposite race,
Yeah.
of a heavier stance,
Yes.
at a higher age.
And they talked about the heavier stance all the time.
Yes,
As if it wasn't acceptable.
But laid up with a higher.
Exactly.
But in a different race. There's nothing wrong with interracial relationships. That's not what I'm speaking upon. But this individual went so hard upon his particular race of females that everything he spoke, now I ain't gonna say everything, because some things did relate and make sense.
Yeah.
But majority of the things, how his approach was,
You can't.
it reflected back on him in his death. That's all I'm saying.
And a lot of things that he said, it's like when you're trying to convey information and you're spewing so much negativity, when you try to get something positive across to a genre of people that you're negatively impacting all the time, the conversations used to be brutal.
It was
And-
majority of it was brutal, but some of it I give credit where credit's due. Some of it made sense in the path of the direction, but yet due to the negative verbiage,
Exactly. It's like
it went across. And the crazy part about it, the men that gravitated towards him highlighted that because of the verbiage.
Exactly.
Not the reasons or the knowledge that was given, because some of it was true.
was decent. It was decent
true.
information.
Especially with the people that were involved on the show.
Yeah.
Now, why would you go on somebody's platform to be destroyed? I don't understand that. That taps into mental health. And that's the only reason why I'm bringing this up, because I'm not going to say the individual's name because I don't want to highlight, but y'all know who it is. Come on. Let's put two and two together and what it made for. Come on now.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, those individuals that were on his show to be shut down so harshly, it makes you question their mental status, because they knew what they were stepping into and gave him highlight to destroy them.
Exactly. And when you in the way that I look at it with him sometimes is you had good perspectives, but when you serve it with vinegar,
come on now,
you're not going to get the same reaction from a person that could have really absorbed something positive from it.
Yes, because it was a few episodes. I was like, he's on point. And I give credit. He's on point.
Yeah.
But then...
But then you go left.
Yes.
And you go way left. And then I'm like, okay, you had something really good to say. But then the energy just went so negatively that everybody's just going to remember the negative.
Yeah.
They're not going to remember the positive message that you were trying to convey. And for you to be on that platform, you have a responsibility to make sure. Yeah, I mean, there's controversial people everywhere.
Everywhere.
That make a point to do whatever they do in a controversial way. But if indeed you want to convey information to people and you want people to really listen to you and glean from a perspective that you have, there's got to be a balance.
It's definitely got to be a balance, because at the end of the day, we all are on this planet together.
Exactly.
And it's nothing that can be done unless your life is at an end. And it's funny how the men that strongly follow this individual are very hurt and feel some sort of way that the women don't care.
They don't.
And if the roles were reversed, and you had this woman tearing down men harshly, and she had her amen team, which is the women, and she passed away, I guarantee you, those particular men will say good riddance, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other, F that B. Come on now. Let's be realistic. Let's be straight for you.
Hello.
You cannot fault certain individuals for not caring about a person tearing them down.
Exactly.
And also too, it just taps more into the mental aspect of certain individuals, because these men are really distraught about him. And one person said it's just the men that were fatherless.
Yeah,
the fatherless men that are tripping, and that's not necessary. I think it's more so hurt men. Hurt men that experience certain things from females that affected their core.
Exactly.
Because I've had conversations on previous episodes about the circle. Remember I said about the circle?
Yes.
You can have a good man or a good woman get with a bad man or a bad woman and then turn them into that.
Exactly.
And I'm still say
I'm
I'm the middle person. I'm looking at the circle just, okay, I don't know if I want to get into it.
That's
at the end of the day. And it's just disheartening that people have come to this level of destruction that they don't even see their inner destruction,
because they're so quick to judge someone else's situation. With it, I always say, if you're not walking that person's journey and you're not walking in their shoes, you don't know what they struggle with every day.
Yes.
You don't know the realities that they have to deal with on a daily. And and it's unfair for you to from perception to think that their life is X, Y, and Z, and they're living a certain way. Because people used to always say to me, well, we don't understand what you're going through, but you didn't ask.
Yeah.
And you didn't ask how I feel and why I feel the way that I do.
Yeah. Because
I look a certain way on the outside, or I carry myself a certain way based on me being able to function and be around people, and doesn't mean that the struggle isn't the same.
Well, it requires a certain type of teaching. Let's be realistic. We're in a world of plentiful hurt people. So in this world, we have children, and we cast our hurt and insecurities upon our children, and it becomes a vicious cycle.
That's true.
So, I'm not gonna make it seem like we are perfect, because at the end of the day, I've passed judgment, I've passed laughter and things of that nature, but I'm growing as I'm getting older, and kind of like a plant, you start off at this certain level and you're supposed to become bigger than what you used to be.
True.
But some people are stagnant within their growth.
I agree.
And I can't really blame them, because it requires their inner circle and the environment they're in, between the family and the community. And if they're not getting enough support within the family and also not in the community, they don't know. They don't
know, but I also say that they need to be more mindful. I mean, a lot of it is an introspective look at yourself to see how you need to function as well as an individual yourself. Because I'm mindful of everybody, regardless of how you're. I mean, I know upbringing has a lot to do with it, but I'm also mindful of people that I don't interact with as well as people that I interact with, because you don't know who's looking at you and who's gleaming or not gleaming from the things that you do and say. So I find myself checking myself daily just to make sure that I'm on point with me.
But that's embedded in your spirit.
Yeah.
That's you as an individual. You were blessed to have an individual that was very impactful in your life to want you to want to be better.
Yeah.
You know, and there's definitely scenarios where, I guess you can say a rare jewel that you have an individual that is in a traumatic environment and still succeeds. You know, despite, because they are mentally tapped within themselves.
True.
And understand that they are beyond their environment.
True.
And then you got the ones that absorb
their environment
and become lesser than what they should be.
Yeah.
But that's human choice.
Exactly.
You know, that's the right that we were blessed to have. Choices. Now, what you do with your choices is totally upon you. You can be a raggedy fugazi in the beginning of your life and become stellar towards the end.
Exactly.
Or you can be stellar in the beginning and become a raggedy fugazi
at the end.
It's all about choices and what you want to do and impact your life to make it either better or worse. I personally, my perspective, either you can make your experience here on earth heaven or hell.
Exactly. Amen.
You know, either you can make it heaven or hell.
That's true.
You know, a lot of people choose to make it hell. This is hell. This is hell on earth. I don't understand. I can't wait to leave this, blah, blah, blah. But what are you doing within your life, within your stance, within the people around you for it to be hellish?
And what are you doing to change the environment and the situation? Because everybody says, well, I'm doing this and I'm blessed and I'm waiting because I'm waiting to get to heaven. But you don't know what heaven looks like. And you don't even know whether there is a heaven.
Well, we're going to have to tap on that. That's a different topic for a different time, and we can bring you back on that aspect. It might touch some people's feelings, but at the end of the day, we're straight for you. And that's what we do. In the meantime, between time, let's pinpoint this point of the conversation. Let's get into our straight for you outside perspectives, where we give one male and one female the opportunity to give their perspective on this particular topic. So I always let the co-host.
Female.
Okay.
Female this time around.
All right. So today's female is Carrie M. Yes, honey. Shout outs to Carrie M. And Carrie M stated, mental health for women is finally getting the attention it deserves. Women have struggled in silence for years because they are expected by friends and family to stay strong regardless of what breaks them on the inside. Again, Carrie M. stated, mental health for women is finally getting the attention it deserves. Women have struggled in silence for years because they are expected by friends and family to stay strong regardless of what breaks them on the inside. So what you feel about Carrie M's perspective? She tapped in the mental.
I agree with that because everybody, like I said, everybody struggles with their own truth, and everybody struggles with their own circumstances based on their environment, their home, if you're married, your situation. And women are always expected to turn the other cheek. No matter what happens to them, they're supposed to stay strong for the children, stay strong for their parents, stay strong for their significant other. But a lot of times in silence they're struggling, in silence they're broken, and in silence they're not getting the support that they feel they need. Okay. And sometimes they're not strong because they're so busy trying to make everybody feel like they're okay and there's nothing wrong with me. You're not getting the help, and you're not getting the nourishment from somebody else, and you're not getting the attention that you need in order to be better for yourself.
Yes. So you know me, I'm the devil's advocate, flip the coin situation. Okay, as far as like you tapped in the female aspect, I'm gonna tap into the male aspect. Okay, I understand. Of course I am not a male. This is just my perspective. But from what I observed and what I've heard, you know, they go through the same struggles.
Oh, yeah.
Also, they feel like they can't be vulnerable in certain situations. They have to be the strength within the family, not just the family, but in their environment. And they have to play a role when internally they are broken.
Very much so.
And when they have the opportunity to try to release it or express it, they get torn down to
and
be like, yes, they make it seem like they're weak.
Exactly.
And I think the society has just uniformed us so much that the woman should supposed to be this and the man should supposed to be that we're not understanding that we're both the same.
And we're not looking at we're not really looking at each other.
No.
We're not really looking at the person.
No.
Regardless of whether it's male, female, whatever, you are still a human being.
Why it always got to be about the sex?
Exactly.
You know.
You are still a human being, and you still struggle, and you still need nourishment you need kindness, you need respect, you need all these things that everybody wants in life. But you're expected to be a certain way, regardless of whether your environment dictates that for you.
Yeah, because I notice if people really like take the time and pay attention, the division is strong.
Very much so.
It's very strong, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that way if we all listen and comprehend each other. You know, we all saying the same thing.
I was listening to. And I forget the gentleman's name. He has a podcast, and there was a segment on there where they were talking about relationships, and it was a male and a female, and the question was, "What makes you love me?" And the male said, and it had nothing to do with her appearance, nothing to do with the physical. It had to do with the fact he said, "In my struggles, you haven't forgotten me."
Yes.
In the time of need, when I feel like I'm at my worst, you always lift me up and make me feel better about everything that's going on, regardless of how bad it gets. And he said, because the guy asked him, he's like, well, what's the definition of your love for her? He's like, I can't define it as just love.
I love that. I love that.
He said, I can't define it as just love. He said, because there's way more to what she is to me than just love.
Come through now, because everybody wants to, and I fell in that category of definition of what I've seen that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own particular aspects of love. Everybody, it don't necessarily have to be love. It can be something spiritual within. And beyond what this planet can offer.
Exactly.
You know, so I'm reaching towards that. I want you to be beyond the love, like he stated.
Exactly.
I want to be within the spiritual planes of us and build something phenomenal and leave something spectacular.
Exactly.
You know, that's my aspect. That's my feelings. That's my wants and also my needs, because people need people regardless of what you may think. We need
each other,
someone. You know, it don't have to be a multiple. As long as you have one that has your back, has your side, has your front, has your top and your bottom, has you overall. It makes a big difference within your life, within your spirit. And you can tackle anything with the right motivation.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are not comprehending that.
They're
And
not.
I'm not saying no one. I said a lot of people are not comprehending that. If you just pay attention and look at how the environment or the society is flowing.
Because nowadays it just looks like, and this is just my perspective, that broken people gravitate to broken people because they don't want to be accountable for the things that they need to look at themselves and look in the mirror and see what they need to change or what they need to be accountable for.
Quick to blame.
So it's easy for you to gravitate to somebody that's in the same state of mind,
Come on.
same situations, going through the same bullshit, because then I don't have to be accountable for the stuff I don't want to deal with in myself.
It's easier.
It is.
It's definitely easy to have somebody that relates with your pain.
Relates to your pain. And then mentally, you never grow. You never progress because there's nobody to make you stand up and take an introspective, because we all have to take a look at ourselves.
There is someone that will highlight certain things, but they don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it because it brings that mirror right in front of their face. Instead of it being so far, it brings it right in front of their face, and they don't want to hear the realities.
They don't.
And don't understand that that individual is trying to make you better.
They don't.
You know, but at the end of the day, let's pinpoint that.
Okay.
Because we definitely getting deep into this, and which I love. I really love. So in the meantime, between time, it's time for our Straight For You sponsor highlights. So we'll see you pretty soon. Peace. Welcome back to Straight For You, where we're giving you straightforward dialogue with an open mind. I am your host, Miss Black Diamond, along with my guest co-host,
SK Logic.
Hey, welcome. Yes, we are on the second half of this show, and the first half was getting juicy, honey, like juicy, honey, okay? And we tapped into, I'm moving forward and moving ahead. I ain't give you the Straight For You topic. Today's Straight For You topic is female and men mental and physical health. So we're tapping into the mental and physical health towards men and women. And we had some great conversation on the first half of the show. We tapped into the conditions of Miss SK Logic. And we also tapped into the mental aspect of different individuals, especially a situation where a social media person ended up passing, and the aspects of what people thought of on that, good and bad and indifference. But anyway, moving forward. As far as my relation towards the physical and mental, I've said it numerous times on different episodes about my physical condition, which people assume that I was pregnant.
Exactly.
Not knowing that I have flare-ups kind of close to my menses. Mm-hmm. And then for the people that don't know what menses is, it's your period, okay? Exactly. And what I go through is fibroid issues, and it's uterine fibroids, and I know I have a nice size fibroid within maybe I think I have at least 2 or 3 that are nicely sized, and as like a week before my period starts, I get bloated. And it flares up. And if I lay down on my back, you can literally. I've not showed you.
You did.
You can literally see the hump on my stomach.
Exactly.
And I've talked to the doctor. They was like, in a sense, that I would never have abs or things of that nature until I have the surgery. And that was years ago, before there were several options that's laid out on the table. Because they want to automatically have you have a hysterectomy. So I'm not wanting that. I just want the little whatever it is to be taken out and leave me intact. So with that being said, I never really wanted, or me being a black female, I'm gonna just be straight for you, don't trust surgeries, due to the history, especially as a black female being treated a certain way. And I've encountered situations where I have had to go to the hospital due to an accident and was put to the side and treated like nothing on this planet. And I'm hearing them have conversations about what they're gonna do that night. And before I got my full scan, being put in the hallway and left there, not telling me where I'm going, what's gonna happen. So with that being said, that put a bad image in my psyche that I can't really trust certain medical individuals. And the crazy part about it, I'm in the medical. I was in uniform. And still was treated a certain way.
That's even worse.
That's worse.
Disrespectful.
So
that is very disrespectful.
Very disrespectful. But I've had situations within the community that I'm currently active in, like, hey, can I ask you a question? And first I was offended, but then I had to like step outside myself to understand where they were coming from. Again, they just looking like, oh, why is
they're just looking at your
why is she out here if she pregnant? Best believe, number one, I will let y'all know, hey, I'm about to have a baby. And number two, certain individuals that close to me won't let me do certain things if I was. So at the end, or if I did, best believe I have a bodyguard all around me.
Most definitely.
But it is discouraging. It did tap into my mental. It made me depressed. It made me look in the mirror like, okay. And then when I finally get through the period phase, it goes back down.
Exactly.
And I look like
your normal self.
And then I feel encouraged, and but I had to understand I'm doing certain things for me, number one. Number two, until I decide to have that surgery, this is what it's gonna be.
And it's your prerogative to be able to live your life and physically feel the way that you want to feel, regardless of what other people think. That's what folks don't get, is that they don't know your struggle. They don't know how you're feeling inside. So for them to say, oh, you look pregnant.
Yes.
But you don't know the full story or the full impact of what I'm going through.
But a lot of females have been through that. Like, that's why men tell other men, the older men tell the younger men, be careful. Oh, Tony Baker. I can say Tony Baker. He made skits about Rihanna being pregnant. Like, I'm not going to say she pregnant. She could be, eating this. She could be bloated. She could be this. But that's the realest, until she announced that she is pregnant. Don't assume she is pregnant. Okay? I'm going to help you guys out, men and female. I mean, because I had them both.
But society has put so much emphasis on the appearance.
Yeah.
They make everybody feel like if you're not a size 2, or you don't have a certain look, or a certain, your hair is in a certain way, or your this is in a certain way, or there's that you're not acceptable, and you're not the norm.
Oh, okay. They're not acceptable in your brain, in your stance, in your religion, in that's what they're not accept. But there are people who accept them the way they are.
Exactly.
And this, by the way, the people that have asked me and are part of the Straight For You podcast family, I have nothing against you for asking. So don't feel bad because I'm talking about it. I am not giving no names, okay? I still have and care and love y'all, okay? It was just at that moment, it just threw me off like the fuck. I'm in my sexy mode, and here you come.
Thank you.
With the fugazi. Here you come, breaking my sexy high by pointing out the flaw. Okay, and it really ain't the flaw. It's not a flaw. It's just a medical situation that I have to tackle, but I have to feel comfortable with a surgeon to do it.
I will tell you, because I have had a hysterectomy, that you have to understand the specialist that's going to do what they're going to do for you.
Okay.
You definitely have to. And you have to be confident in who they are and confident in the way that they operate on people.
Yes.
Because I've had friends that have had hysterectomies where they had to go through a whole lot of pain, a whole lot of, because there's some surgeons that will do staples.
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
I've had friends that have been stapled and had issues with infections with the staples and stuff like that. I had a brilliant surgeon. Unfortunately, he's retired now, but I had a brilliant. He did internal sutures.
That's good. Tell the people.
I never had to go through any pain when I was going through it. He operated. It was funny because my cycle, I was having issues, the same fibroid issues you were having, and I had, where they do the DNC, where they do the scraping, just to try and minimize the stress and the pain of the cycle itself. It didn't work. Matter of fact, it reversed a whole lot of issues because of the autoimmune stuff that I was going through.
So it kind of like
it triggered.
It scratched and it irritated. It
irritated, and it started a scenario that was ridiculous. And it was funny that my doctor was on vacation because it was right near Christmas time, and he goes back to his country for Christmas. So I had to wait almost a month.
With that pain?
With the pain and with the cycle.
Ooh, for a whole month?
For a whole month.
I had a situation that, ladies, and be careful, and young ladies, be careful with birth control. Because what works for one person may not work for you. And I had a situation where I didn't want to take the pill, so I tried a Depo shot. I bled for 3 months straight. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
And I felt so weak and fatigued. It was just, it was ridiculous. But that's another topic for another day. But we back onto the physical portion. It's definitely mess with the psyche and of a person when certain flaws are in the other person's perspective is highlighted. Again, like I said on social media, I had a guy. She pretty and all, but if she take care and lose a few little pounds, I want to say ninja.
Thank you.
My arms are small.
What's wrong with
my thighs are thick. Yes, and but here is this. I got smooth. It's smooth. But when I'm flared. Okay, I'm flared.
But what is wrong with it? That's what. But they see one little thing
and judge
and highlight the whole
child.
person.
If I sometimes, in order to teach people, I say feel it, and it's hard. It's hard. You can feel the lump hardness.
Exactly.
And in some way, if somebody felt it, they probably would have thought I was pregnant, because that's that feels the same way, but it's slightly off. This is harder than being pregnant, and I know because I have a child. So, but at the end of the day, one day, hopefully this year, I'm aiming for this year. I'm gonna have to have some discussions and some trust, build up my trust towards that.
Exactly.
Y'all will see the difference, and even if it's not for y'all, it's for me, because you do feel certain things from it, effects. That it's not, because now I can feel it when luckily I've always had the higher end of the period, so that didn't bother me. It's now that when if I lay on my stomach or right before the release, it's tender.
Okay.
So I have to deal with that. So with that being said, I think we as black females have a higher statistics when it comes to uterine fibroids.
We do.
And I want to say it's due to birth control. Like, you know, birth control can affect that.
Mm-hmm.
Genetics to a certain degree can affect that. It's just the environmental things.
Exactly.
And the only reason why I'm highlighting and letting y'all know, because a lot of people suffer in silence. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
they suffer in silence, and then they get criticized by certain looks and aspect.
Mm-hmm.
If you are happy with the person you are,
be happy.
Be happy, because there are some individuals that appreciate you the way you are.
You have to love yourself, because I had to learn, when I started changing physically, because the steroid that I take, one shot is like a massive, is like bodybuilders take steroids to boost their muscles and to boost the stamina within them. Think about doing that every day in order to be able to just get up and be able to survive.
And better yet, to give an example, because we have seen it on social media and as well as documentaries, the effects of those bodybuilders doing steroid over a period of time. And you, on the other hand, need it for survival. They was doing it for enhancement.
Exactly.
And so that should give you an example of the extent these medications are going through. And I've said it to you how I feel that you are a phenomenal individual to get up each morning.
Thank you.
To be in the condition that you are in and still do what you need to do in this world, and nobody really knows.
They don't.
Now they know, because now y'all won't pass judgment so quickly on a person and not be like a child. Go ahead and ask the question, but be in a sense like an adult towards your question, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Children will ask.
They will ask.
But you as an adult should know the levels of sensitivity on how to ask.
And they don't. They just they make assumptions, and it's funny because for years, because I work in corporate America, you know, and you're expected to deliver regardless of how you feel, how you look, whatever. So, and my level of what I do in corporate America is at a very high and visible status. So I have to make sure that I'm functional, and I have to make sure that I'm able to do what I do, regardless of how I feel or how you might know. There were times that I had lesions everywhere, and I would have on suits. You learn how to camouflage.
Yeah.
So nobody would ever know. My office mate knew, because one day she came in, and I mean, there were times where there's slashes, where they look like somebody had slashed me with a knife, and one of them was bleeding. And I didn't know she was coming back so soon from lunch, and I was doctoring myself up, you know. And she came in and she was like horrified, because she didn't know all this time what I was going through, and she had been my office mate for almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And she didn't know what I was going through.
But that goes to show the power of people and they stance on still getting through what they need to get through. And I've had a conversation with you due to my field of individuals, young and old, that I see struggle each and every day and still get out here and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Case in point, children born with no limbs or deformity and things of that nature, and they still move like any other. And it's individuals outside of them that highlight their flaws.
Exactly.
Or, oh, that poor baby, that. No, they not. They not poor, they not this, they not that. And the reason why I say that, because they don't know no different.
They don't.
You know different, because you are not them. They are born that way.
Exactly.
So they know no different.
They don't.
So it's people outside of them keep highlighting their flaws, and then eventually will mess with their mental. This is where the mental kicks in, the depression kicks in, and suicide kicks in. Because at the end of the day, they are not happy with themselves when they in the beginning they were.
I agree.
So let's pinpoint that, because we have to go to our outside perspective where we give one male and one female the opportunity to talk within this topic. And we already did the female.
So now we got to do the male.
Yes. So thank you. So today's male is Carter R. Yes. So Carter R. stated, everyone struggles with mental situations. Men have a hard time dealing with mental issues just like women. Difference is, it's okay for a woman to voice their pain easier than men. Again, Mr. Carter stated, Carter R. stated, everyone struggles with mental situations. Men have a hard time dealing with mental issues just like women. Difference is, it's okay for women to voice their pain easier than men. Okay, and I tapped in that on the first half of the show. Shout outs to Mr. Carter R. Yes, shout outs to him. Yes, and I agree.
I do too.
I agree. You know, everybody has, it depends on the environment and the situation, because you tapped in on the first half, women have felt like they couldn't express and be beyond what people see.
True. That's very true, because everybody's got a perspective and an opinion.
But men, like he stated, as a male, he feels the same. He feels like, and it's true to a certain degree. So I say several levels up. Women can express a little bit quicker than a man.
I agree with that.
But there are situations where we are silent.
Yes.
Or put in a position where we can't talk. But for a man's perspective, in a sense, they have to have that type of image where they have to be strong. And like I stated on the first half, they can't express their weaknesses without being labeled, you know. So it's hard it sounds like it's hard on both sides, you know, and when we can really tap into the aspect of really being open and not so judgmental, I think this world will be a little bit better, because as adults, we pass judgment and hurt so quickly because that's what we received.
And I'm looking more and more as life continues to flow, the compassion for people and the empathy for what people go through is getting lost. It seems like everybody's so aggressive with the way that they want to be perceived in life and the way that they want society to look at them, that you forget that there are people that are struggling and hurting. And you forget that when you struggle and hurt, you might need the same love, the same understanding, and the same compassion that the same person that you just made fun of or you just counted out as if they weren't, as if they didn't matter.
Well, let's tap into what you stated as far as what society brings. I feel like if you really take away the mask and the blind, those certain individuals, not all, those certain individuals that come off to be elite.
Yeah.
When you take away all that glitz and glamour and go into their inner world, it's tragic.
It's
okay? They are hot messes walking around just faking it till they make it. Or matter of fact, they made it and still faking it. And you know, case in point, mental wise. Not saying that this individual faked it. That young lady that before she was able to turn 31, she would have been 31, Miss USA.
Yeah.
That she had in the image everything that anybody could possibly have wanted. She was crowned. She was beautiful. She was successful. She was knowledgeable. She was just energetic. And I watched the videos, and you can see the light and the spirit of that individual. But internally, she was suffering. internally she was destroyed.
And she was very sad.
Yes. And despite what anything that was given to her or she earned, it didn't matter.
It didn't.
And it makes me wonder, like, what really tapped into that psyche of that. You know, I feel that certain events in life makes you go there.
I don't know, because there are some people. There are some people, because I've looked at different aspects, like the Amy Winehouses, the Mac Millers. There are certain people that no matter how they grew up, or what aspect, they were always sad.
Just internally
it was
sad.
there was always an internal sadness with them that they couldn't shake.
But that is a great example, not in the sense of her passing, a great example of it doesn't matter how far you get.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you receive. If you're not mentally stable within yourself, none of this matters.
The material, it's just a material mask that you have. The accolades and the appearance and all of those are just things that are outward that people see. When you go home and you close the door and you're sitting in that dark space by yourself, it's just you and your conscience that you
your true nakedness,
your true naked conscience that you got to deal with.
Your true nakedness, because I've even mentioned on a few episodes of my self-image, and despite how people may have felt that I look in a positive way, I didn't see myself that way.
Wow.
But it's true. You know,
and we all go through it.
And it's been times that I have to build my affirmation for myself. Like, you are beautiful, you are smart, you are capable of doing what you need to do. You are
exactly
not from this planet, in a sense.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting a little bit older and getting more powerful within myself, I'm okay, you know, but it is an internal thing. You have to give yourself internal affirmations. It's a blessing to receive it from the outer world, but
you gotta feel it.
You gotta feel it within inside you in order to better you, and in order to improve you, and in order to understand and respect not just who you are, respect other individuals.
You do.
Because the people that attack people like that, I feel like they really internally battling within themselves.
But a lot of people that attack are broken themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
And they don't understand that you projecting your brokenness on someone else isn't going to change your situation. Only you can change it. I'm good with me. Like the comments that people have made about my size and have made about things like that. I'm like, but I'm good with me, because I know the struggle of where I came from to where I am now, and how I am having to maintain who I am in order to be able to be productive.
Yeah.
So anything you say to me now, it's just water under the bridge.
Because it's funny, I have examples of individuals that are popular or nice looking and things of that nature, and I've had personal conversations with them. In the beginning, it was hard. It was hard for them. They received the negativity. They received certain things in life that wasn't pleasing. But also, too, on the flip side of it, they throwing it back on other individuals. They throw it back on people that they deem that they can control and talk crazy to. But my issue with that, you know how it feels.
Thank you.
So with that being said, if you know how it feels, why would you make somebody else feel that same pain? That don't even come to you, and the individuals don't even come to them crazy. They just talk about them just to fucking talk about them. And I'm like, you know how that feels.
Thank you. So why would you project that onto somebody else when you already know how it makes you feel?
And that's what gets me. Now, if the person came to you sideways, hell yeah, go on, light them up, blaze them up. Let them know that you know how it feels, number one. Number two, you about to catch this energy that you giving me. That's different. But if you got an individual that you can see is not on a certain level of finances, certain level of looks, certain level of knowledge, and you just want to destroy them just to do it because you can.
Exactly.
I don't respect that.
I don't, and I don't understand it, because that shows your insecurities as an individual, and that shows that you don't have the confidence or the faith in your own self to be able to be around people and be able to interact with people. So why are you going to? A lot of people. I mean, because I look at like and they try to tear down Lizzo. Mm-hmm. They try to tear down this one. This woman is living her best life.
Come on, Lizzo! Shout outs to Lizzo, like for real, like shout outs to Lizzo, because since day one I was like, this woman, she doing a damn thing, and she should feel sexy within herself, because like you said, we had our conversation. Great example of her getting on the flight showing her ass. Let it be some little skinny person or some high-end celebrity within a smaller frame do it. Oh, they are just showing, honey. Okay. They are doing it because she got cellulite on her booty, and so it's big. It's a big booty.
Thank you.
That she can shake. It's her booty.
Because you've seen other younger rappers with no clothes on doing their thing, and nobody had anything to say
about it.
Not a
damn thing to say. But let it, because she's a thicker woman, showing off her body, and I'm happy that she expressed that she had like self-esteem and depression and stuff like that. Now she's loving herself, and she expressing the love for herself. Now some people, not all, some people have a problem with that. Look at your goddamn self, okay? If you got a problem with her, look at yourself in the mirror, because everybody got some flaws. Trust and believe that everybody got some flaws. And if you don't have flaws, that's where they have them surgeries and doing all that fugazi shit, because they try to mask their flaws. Let's be real. Because
it's either one or the other. You're either comfortable with the flaws that you have and you're letting them work to your benefit, or you're doing something to camouflage them. That's why you get the surgeries and all this stuff, because you still have the same self-esteem issue as a person that doesn't have the surgery. So what makes it any different? You just got the money to pay for getting rid of your flaws and making yourself feel good, where they feel good being who they are, regardless of how you think they look or not.
Yeah, because I can name some celebrities that look like basic of the base, but want to talk crazy about certain individuals. Don't let your status get beyond your morals. Okay, don't let your status get beyond your morals, because we all age, baby.
Hello?
Some age well.
And some don't.
That part, okay? And for me, I'm saying it's your spirit, honey.
Thank you.
It's your spirit. If your spirit was you beautiful. I mean, you beautiful, young, and just showing the damn thing. But as you get older, that you start aging, that shit coming on you hard. And it's your spirit come back at you. You talked all that hot fugazi shit when you was young, but now that you're getting older, you're not looking right.
Thank you.
You're not feeling right. You're not being right.
And your energy is negative. Your energy is not working to your advantage.
Child. You're looking like a gremlin walking. Come on now, looking like a gremlin walking. and I can say that. I can say that. That is judgment. If your spirit was stank and ugly in the beginning, don't be mad that you're looking like trash at the end.
Hello?
Okay? Unless you got that money, honey, to fix it. Even with the money, it still can't mask it, because you got some celebrities out here still with the money, getting all these surgeries and looking like a human mannequin that can't even smile, blink, or anything.
Exactly.
So stop the madness at the end of the day. Stop the madness. But this has been a great conversation.
Thank you so much.
It's like the time just goes by so quickly.
It does.
And of course, I hope that you come back again.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Because you tapped in some on the first part that I feel like we gonna have to. You might have a little controversy up in here, but with the comments. Oh, speaking of comments, make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all leave some comments, because y'all perspectives are important.
Definitely.
Okay, what I may not agree with, or she may not agree with, or we may agree with, is important, because at the end of the day, somebody can relate. Okay.
Very much so.
So in the meantime, between time is that time where we give the Straight For You positive quote, what we do every episode. Because if we gotta leave it with some positivity.
Most definitely.
Okay. So today's positive quote is: remember that your mental and physical health is a priority. Your inner peace is essential, and your self-care is a necessity. Okay.
Most definitely.
Again, today's positive quote is: remember that your mental and physical health is a priority. Your inner peace is essential, and your self-care is a necessity. Okay. So bottom line, just remember that you are important. Remember that you matter. Remember that you are capable to be something positive in this life. We got enough negative, honey. We don't need any more.
Gosh.
That is ghetto, okay? It is ghetto. It is trash. It's beyond what we should be. We are in 2022 going on 2023, y'all. We should be in space doing the damn thing, but we still fighting and doing all this fugazi shit. And also, too, we should be on all the stuff we used to see back in the day, the Jetsons and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm telling my age. I don't give a care. All that futuristic shit, we too busy fighting. We can't even help ourselves correctly because we so busy want to be mad at the next man. All right, so take care of your mental and your physical. That's important. And if you feel like you can't really handle the mental portion, seek some help.
Very much so.
You know, you don't. And as far as the physical, you don't always have to go on a knife because, baby, I really don't want to get cut. But I have to get cut for health reasons,
Exactly.
okay? That's the only way I feel like I'm going to get cut. Because me and my cricket tea, enjoy until I get my aligners. I'm going to fix it the natural way, not getting these invisible with those little cover whatever. And I'm not cutting my nose. If you don't like my nose, don't look. This the most I'm going to get is my nose ring. And
I look in the mirror now and I'm happy with me.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, this is what you see is what you get. If you don't like it, close your eyes and keep it pushing.
That's it. Stroll. Keep strolling. Block me. That's fine. If you don't like how I look. Somebody like it. Somebody love it.
Because I'm saying, regardless of the way I used to look, this is who I am now.
Yes,
the person hasn't changed. I'm still the same person.
And you're beautiful.
Thank you, and so are you. We got lovely queens. Okay?
Yeah, come on now. And speaking of queens, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on. I have Straight For You. Straight For You.
Oh, because you did it. Hey, because you did it. Come on now. You here? Come on now.
I'm on Rise and Rough Productions.
Rise and Rough Productions, honey.
I'm on Rise and Rough Productions. LLC. And we're revamping the website.
Okay.
So the website will be available the beginning of next month. So we'll definitely have that running. Like I said, we're working on a couple of screenplays. We're working on new material for new books that are coming out by the end of the year.
Next time you come, I'm gonna make sure I have the. Oh, speak of. See how it works. This is the book, y'all. Is Cloaked. You know, make sure y'all cop that. Let them know where they can find it. This is a real book. Stop playing.
Yes.
Stop playing. Stop playing.
It's available on Amazon in paperback and in Kindle. You just go to the books department on Amazon. Search my name, Stacey, Stacey, Cannon, Kannon. Search Cloaked, and you will find it.
Yes, y'all better cop that. Stop playing. Anything else?
You know, I'm just thankful to be here. I really appreciate you inviting me.
I appreciate you for really tapping in and opening up, because a lot of people do need that. You know,
I think physical challenges that people go through are serious, and I think that folks don't really take them serious because because the person that's going through them masks it so well.
Yes.
You know, because you don't want society to give you pity, and you don't want people to feel sorry for you. So you project yourself in a certain way.
Definitely, I feel you on that, because I definitely don't want nobody to take pity on me, and that I don't need.
I don't.
You know, I need enlightenment, encouragement, and enthusiasm, and all that stuff. I give that out. Okay.
Exactly.
So speaking of giving out, let me give y'all my information, because we just going, child. Y'all can find me, of course, here on Straight For You podcast, along with my co-host and guest co-host. The information can be located also on Facebook, which is Straight For You podcast. You can also find me on Instagram, which is Ms. MZ_Black Diamond. And you also can find me on TikTok. I ain't a TikToker all the time, but I'm on there. And that's at the @ MZ_Black Diamond. Also, too, you can find all this information, even the information on the book, in the description box below. And all you have to do, I make it so easy, all you have to do is click on the link and it takes you there, honey. And also, too, if you would like to leave a contribution, go to my website, which is a1perfectentertain.com. And on the home page, you'll see the contribution link. And it's PayPal, y'all. So if you got a PayPal, if you want to leave some contribution, that will help. It's well needed. So I am not discriminating on the amount. If you want to make me a millionaire and leave $1 million in there, thank you. If you want to leave $5, thank you. You know, it's just at the end of the day, just the support of it all. I have to vamp up my Straight For You merchandise. Yes, I know I don't talk about it that often because I'm just mainly making sure this foundation is strong, y'all, because I want to be that person that is viewed. You know, I want to be in y'all lives like that. I want y'all to see me. Yes. And my co-host. Yes. So at the end of the day, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes.
As well. Thank you so much.
And with that being said, we're out. Peace.